welcome to the podcast. This is Not For Radio. We are your hosts, Dunc and Jay Reeve. Caution, it will contain some swearing and some bloody good times.
Wrap things up in the pod today with a couple of pretty classic jokes. One that's filthy, absolute smut, and one that's real high-level operation.
Also on the podcast today, Jay has given out far too many details about his friends in the police force, and I don't think he'll have friends with friends in the police force any longer.
Boomers and tech and special occasions features as well.
How to set yourself on fire and do it properly, and then go and have a bender at the pub.
And speaking of, Bert Kreischer, just to give you a full fizz up, and his stance, not necessarily our stance, we don't really adhere to this, although it may sound like I do in the end of it.
I definitely do.
I don't, and that's what we call balance. Bert Kreischer on drinking.
When I was just a little boy, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? And here's what she said to me. Ah, fuck off. You're going to be a cunt like your father. Not for radio.
Is that the best one we've had? Once again.
Mate, just the talent that are in this team is endless. Absolutely endless. And our appreciation could never actually be properly articulated. Put it this way. Words haven't been fucking invented yet to show how much we appreciate you.
If you want to get one of those through, as weird as you want or as glorious as that, you can just click on the show notes. Now, we did promise this audio.
Yeah.
Probably quite fitting going into the weekend. This is Bert Kreischer with his just absolute game day speech on drinking.
You love to booze, don't you? You love to drink.
I do.
You booze till you snooze.
Dude, let me tell you something. I will never quit drinking. I will never quit drinking. I will always make sure that I can keep my body healthy enough so that I can always drink. I love seeing a sunrise with a cocktail, seeing a sunset with a cocktail, having friends walk into your house with a bottle of wine, getting on a plane. Can I get you something? Double Jack on the rocks, lots of rocks. I love the moment someone says, hey, we should get a drink, and you're not supposed to. That feeling, it's like a first kiss. You don't get that first kisses when you're married. You get to have those first drinks. At a brunch, someone goes, should we do mimosas? And then the waiter goes, actually, we have bottomless mimosas. And you're like, this is gonna be the best day ever.
Dude, you just hyped me the fuck up. You just hyped me up, bro. That was like a locker room speech.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is that we had a not too dissimilar experience at our friend Tricky's. He has a restaurant. Tricky, good friend of the show, good friend of the podcast. Runs a bar in Auckland, New Zealand called the Conservatory, right down on the waterfront. And we came in after the sailing, and I was fucking whistling after 2 days being out on the water. And he goes, take a seat, you look thirsty. And I was like, oh, fuck, I love this. I love this when people in hospitality just take the bull by the horns and they roll in. And within, I'm talking seconds of sitting down, boom, drink in front of me. Boom, drink in front of my wife. Boom, 2 drinks in front of my kids. There's one non-alcoholic. Ours are heavily alcoholic. What did I have? I had the Tricky, or it's called It's a Bit Tricky, which is made up of like gin, like a grapefruit soda, and it was just thirst quenching. And just as I was lifting it past horizontal, boom, what lands in front of me? One of his famous fucking vases of beer. It literally looks like a fucking glass keg full of piss. And it was like the perfect amount. And he was like, and there you go, fucking sorted. I love that. Like, I know exactly what he is talking about. When you finish mowing the lawns or doing some form of physical activity, or when you're sitting in the sheds after a game of footy and someone throws you a can and you fucking catch it, boom, like the baton has been passed, top comes off, it fucking just evaporates in your hand. You're like, shit, I'm ready for another one. And the fucking can's already coming at your face. Bang! Fuck, we're on again. It's like a belt-fed machine gun of piss cans. I love it. Oh, fuck, see, he hypes me up, hey? I love that shit. I love it.
Yes. What's your favourite beer? There's many different sorts of beers.
I tell you what, for me, it's purely scene and setting when it comes to it. So whenever we go, so there's a bar that we go to, Swashbucklers, and I'll drink a Monteith's Black. It's like the only place I drink a Monteith's Black because I like sitting there because it's right on the waterfront. It's like Kelly Tarleton's. It's like an aquatic world but with piss. So you have a fucking basket full of beige food. See, fuck, everything in it is yellowy beige. Everything's deep
They
fried.
put extra yellow on it, I swear.
Yeah, and it's fucking delicious. And a Monteith's Black just cuts through the grease and delivers while you're staring over the edge at a bunch of stingrays eating fish carcasses off freshly filleted boats. You know, that's good stuff. When I'm at home, I like a Heineken Silver can. Not so much the bottle, but the can. That is fucking delicious. If we're slapping a few tins on the beach, for me, it's fuck. I drink my own. I drink Powell's because they just refresh and deliver. You know when you think, and this could come under scrutiny, but you know when you say that you cannot elevate a situation with anything other than the situation itself, fucking bullshit.
Absolute bullshit.
I can make the most beautiful day on a beach with my friends, tunes playing. I can take it from a 10, which you'd think is the top. Open up a can of Powers. Fuck, we're at a 20. I didn't even know that was possible, but it is. And we've arrived there. And I'm so glad that I lugged a chili bin full of piss down to the beach for that reason.
Sometimes you're second guessing yourself in those moments, but is this normal to be lugging a 60-litre chili bin full of piss to go to the beach for 40 minutes?
Yeah, and there's only 2 adults here. The answer to that is fucking no. And that's why I pay more to live closer to the beach so I don't have to drive.
Do you know what I reckon makes a beer or any alcoholic drink in any setting taste like, I would say 30% better? And that's if you've forgotten to drink water for the most part of the day. Oh, yeah. So you're going in slightly dehydrated and your first one's an alcoholic beverage. And that's when you go, oh, that's delicious. And then you like mow half the beer in one go and you go, well, that's not enough. And you drill the rest of it. You take, and then you look straight to the next one. And if you've got those drinks like at optimum temperature, that's one of the best moments.
But you've said this before, there is... Like, obviously, agua, like we're made up of 80% water. I don't know what the fucking statistic is. We're made up of a lot of fluid. We combined everything that's rushing around in our bodies, keeping our brains from turning into raisins, the rest of it. Fucking water doesn't cut it in some situations.
I feel like alcohol must just sit around the outside of all the moisture in your body and just lube it up, make everything move a bit sweeter.
Yeah, it definitely dehydrates you as well, horrendously.
Well, later, not straight away.
But I think you nailed it when it was like, the lawnmower beer is your classic 4% lager, which sits, and that's why for me that Heineken Silver is fucking money for a beer.
Good drop.
I love it, but only out of a can. Yeah, and I think that maybe it was like a kid thing, because particularly here in New Zealand. So what was it? What was the first beer that you used to drink?
Was this first beer I ever remember drinking?
Well,
or the first beer that I drank on the reg? On the reg. Tasman Bitter.
Exactly, and that would have been a shit beer at, let me guess, 4%.
Mm-hmm. Might have even been 3.5.
Yeah, might have been a Reineken.
Driving beer.
Yeah, and
only joking.
You know, in Russia, slight digression. It was in 2009 that they classed beer as a soft drink and not alcoholic because it wasn't more than 10% alcohol.
Oh man!
And on the Landman, which is I will fucking bone on about this series. I watched it again last night. It is brilliant. That he's sitting at a bar and the guy's like, "Do you want a spirit or do you want to fucking like a Jack and Coke, whatever?" And he's like, "No, I'm not drinking anymore. I'll just stick to the beer." He's like, you do know there's alcohol in it. There is alcohol in it. He goes, there is a difference between 10 beers and 10 whiskeys. You give me 10 beers and then you give me 10 whiskeys and you tell me which one of those assholes is welcome back tomorrow. Well, that's a fucking good point. Very good point.
Oh, well, good rev up going into the weekend.
Yeah.
Rev responsibly if you want to. You're an adult.
That was the point that I was fucking really slowly getting to before, was that you go from small brown bottles to green bottles as a point of disembarkation into adulthood. I'm now earning enough money to buy whatever piss I want, and the higher end beers in New Zealand anyway come in a green bottle. Mm-hmm. And so now I think you would have a green bottle to almost socially showcase the fact that you were semi-successful, or you at least had disposable income to choose which beer you wanted to buy. And I think that if you were to have a can, there wasn't that differentiation, because a can is a fucking can at the end of the day. And so I think this is the next tier of being a fucking adult drinker that's comfortable with whatever piss you're drinking, is you go back to a can. You've gone past the green bottle, now you're drinking a green bottle beer in a can. Fucking A. That is graduation. Congratulations. Throw your hat and fucking punch that tin.
Look, Jays, this is the first step of Jay officially not giving a fuck. We referenced that you started the podcast, and your old man and my old man just not giving a fuck, and you're there, man.
I've arrived.
You have arrived. It's good.
Some would say I arrived a while ago.
It's good to have you here.
Was that Chewy? Listen to Jane Dunc, not for fucking radio? Nice.
Not for radio.
Nice. Can I give you a little war story out of Australia?
Yeah.
I actually don't know if he's from Australia. In fact, he's not. Matt Schilling from Sittingbourne under the category of injury. Sittingbourne. I got a message from the guy with the cool name yesterday too, by the way, Showboss
Did you
Teagues.
nail it?
He said I nailed it.
Of course you fucking did.
So he said that it's like a Viking surname and like a Dutchy first name or something like that. But yeah, great stuff. From Tauranga Boys College, the Fantasy Factory, if you don't know about it, you know. But
Get
now
into
living
your fucking story, mate.
now Christchurch. Anywho, back to Matt Schilling from Sittingbourne.
Which is also a good name.
Well, no, I think Sittingbourne's a place name. by
No, I
all
was going
accounts.
with his last name.
Oh, Schilling, yeah, it's fucking sick. That's quite sick, eh? Having a currency as a surname is fucking pretty sick. What's up, Dunc Dollar?
That's what I was thinking. Dunc Dollar. I used to get called D Money, eh? Yeah. By like one person.
Suck D for money. Anywho, back to Matt. Back to Matty. We were working on an old farm building here in the UK, underpinning it to stop subsidence. To get at the base of the building, all the old shrubbery growing around the house had to be removed and chucked into the skip. No ordinary skip, it was a high-sider, one that you had to erect a small scaffold ramp to wheelbarrow up and into. As the garden waste took up a fair amount of the bottom of my skip, my ever health and safety abiding boss told me to burn it. Not a bad idea. Contained in steel, burn the fucking
Yeah,
thing.
hard out.
Sweet ass. My
Good place to put all the leftover house paints too, just in the middle of the bonfire. What house paints?
Yeah, the boss told me to burn it, make more room for the excavated soil that was to follow. So off I trot to find an old jerry can of petrol lying about in one of the barns. I start splashing it over the shrubbery inside the skip, and then gingerly I lean in off the scaffold and try to light it. But the petrol must be so old that it's lost its flammability. And the drizzle in the air, well, that really wasn't helping either. Bugger this, I thought. I'll be fucking here all day at this rate. I'll pop off to the local service station for some fresh stuff. And upon my return, I entered the skip off the scaffold and really worked the petrol in and around the bottom and aptly and applied liberally, as the drizzle has left everything pretty damp. No fucking around here. Half the jerry can has now been applied. I have a very good presence of mind to walk back to the edge of the skip and place the remaining petrol up to the scaffold before returning to the centre to ignite my creation. Two colleagues have now gathered on the side of the skip for a little bit of chat by this point and are watching me happily go through my work. The next series of events are best described from their viewpoint, as my view became rather blurry for a few minutes from this point onwards. As I bent down, the lighter in my hand, my colleague thought, surely he's not about to... Boom, fuck. Yes, he/I was. The early slow ignition from the old petrol had briefly made me forget how combustible the fresh stuff is, especially with all the vapour trapped in the air by the sides of the skip. A mini mushroom cloud goes up and I fucking disappear from sight. One colleague, so shocked by the sudden explosion, has thrown himself into a commando roll straight through the numerous piles of sheep shit flying around, and the other is standing there, mouth open in shock. Moments later, I've had the good presence of mind to throw myself from the skip, hair still on fire and everything else smouldering, and made my way to an old sheep drinking trough to plunge my head and upper body in as much as I possibly can. The water is green and slimy, but I don't give a fuck at this point.
Oh my gosh.
My upper arms and face felt like the surface of the sun, and the cooling effect of the sheep's water was absolute heaven. After a few moments, I'd regained enough composure to respond that I was okay to the gathering crowd who'd emerged after hearing the boom explosion. I should have known better, being a trained fireman, I uttered, and this sent most of them into hysterics as I reassured people I was okay and set off back to the house to start digging. After 10 minutes of labouring...
Hang on a minute. He just tried to carry on. Fucking hell.
Fucking around here, mate.
You were in a flame cloud, bruh.
After 10 minutes or so of labouring, the temperature of my skin had once again become hotter than Satan's anus, and I made my way to those hose pipes that I had initially noticed by the side of the sheep trough to douse myself down with cold, fresh, clean water. This process was repeated for about 4 or 5 times over the next hour or so as I bravely tried to soldier on at work, but as it was nearly lunchtime now, I asked a colleague to hop in a van and arms and head hanging out of the passenger window like a dog, we set off for the local pharmacy. Fucking hell.
For the pharmacy?
Yeah. Fucking
You're
wrong
being
spot.
swallowed by flame, and he's waiting for his lunch break to go and do something about it. And then he goes, no, I know what to do with Burns. We'll go and see that old duck at the pharmacy. She'll know what to do.
It gets better. Upon entering the pharmacy, I approached the guy behind the counter and asked him if he stocked any of that bloody after sun or a bit of aloe vera. As I remembered from previous holidays, this stuff had a real nice cooling effect. I could see by the look on his face that he was struggling to comprehend if I was actually joking or truly fucking dumb enough. So as I looked at the time, he just stared back at me and said, "Mate, you fucking need to go to a hospital."
Fucking skin's peeling off his face. Eh?
"Oh," I replied. And walked back to the van to inform my mate that he'd be dropping me off a little further down the road at the local A&E department. On the drive, I phoned the boss and updated him on the situation that I probably wouldn't be coming back to work that afternoon, as we all know how long the fucking queues at A&E are. His reply was, "Just fucking don't tell them you did it at work."
Fucking shit, Potters.
After thanking him for his sympathy,
Just wiping his hands of it. Not on my watch.
After thanking him for his sympathy and reassuring him his work insurance wasn't about to skyrocket, I entered the A&E and approached the reception desk. After a quick explanation of how I was burning some garden leaves at home and showing her my arms and face, I didn't have to worry about the queue. I was escorted straight to a room with a nice female nurse, who quickly evaluated my burns and asked if I was allergic to morphine.
Oh my God.
"Nope," I replied, and was promptly shot up with the good stuff. This magical liquid, by geez did it do the trick, certainly made a lot of the pain disappear as she started wrapping my arms in plastic cling film. She informed me an ambulance was coming to take me to the big hospital, which is a few towns over, and when the 2 petite female paramedics entered the room pushing a wheelchair, my manliness took over and I told them, don't worry about that, girls, I'm fine to walk." Safely in the back of the ambulance, we set off, and the medic attending me in the rear removes the film on one arm for a look. She hands me a couple of sachets and turns to look for something else. I tear the first one open and start spreading the liquid onto the burnt arm. She turns back and looks at me with the same confused look I'd seen earlier at the pharmacist's face and shouts, "What the fuck are you doing? That's painkiller. You meant to put it in your mouth." Oh, as I licked the sticky substance off my extremely red skin, I realised this isn't my finest hour and regret turning up for work that morning. Safely deposited in the hospital, I now await a doctor who informs me I'm really lucky that the burns haven't gone all the way around my arms. There's actually a 2 centimetre gap of good skin that means I don't have to go to another specialist burns unit in a hospital another 3 hours away. Not feeling that lucky, as he tells me, I emerged from the hospital a few hours later, looking like a mummy in my nice white bandages, covering a lot of my face, arms. I phoned a maid and explained the situation and said I need a lift home. He keenly obliged and was waiting in the car park. We start off and he persuades me what I fucking really need is a good cold pint.
Fuck, mates are the best, eh?
To make sure that morphine gets the kick along it really needs. This put me into a jolly good mood, and I agree, and we head for the local. Upon entering, a large crowd of mates had gathered, and the bastard had phoned around and told them all my day's stupidity. They all gave me a chair, and the piss-taking began. The jukebox was queued up with a long list of songs playing things like Burn, Baby Burn, Relight My Fire, etc., but the alcohol on top of the morphine was a very pleasant buzz. Moral of the story, kids, don't play with petrol. Don't play with petrol, but stupid decisions can make amusing stories years later. Cheers.
I want to know how bad it was.
Well, he got let out of the hospital, so...
Oh, man, that's good. Do we have to have morphine beers as one of the great beers? Haven't had a morphine beer.
Haven't had a morphine beer. Maybe if you're a functioning addict, you might be smacking morphine beers.
Well, let us know.
Jay and Dunc, Duncan and Jay, not for fucking radio, Up the wires.
Up the wires. So, a little message through from Helen in Taranaki on the west coast of the North Island.
One of the
here in
greatest
New Zealand.
places in New Zealand.
That's where Jay was born.
I was born in Cambridge, but moved
right.
there very soon after. Moved there as a 1-year-old.
Why were you born in Cambridge?
Because my parents were farming in the Waikato.
Oh, yeah.
And then they up sticks and we went there, and that's where I was until I was about 5 years old. Random fact, I think I might have told you, my nephew's going to New Plymouth Boys this year as a boarder.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yep. They've got a great hockey academy down there. So he's first year boarding, last year of school. I was like, fuck, that's a roller coaster for you, buddy. Good luck, Oots.
Jeez, I find that concept of boarding so bizarre.
It's the best.
Like, yeah, but it would be, but for parents to be like, see you in 12 weeks or whatever it is.
Oh, mate, it's not uncommon. If you're listening to, if you're part of the pod in the UK, like you would have possibly been fucked off to boarding school at like 8 years old.
Fuck,
It's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, Helen writes, my son's granddad had an epic cell phone failure while trying to record my son's graduation from primary school a few years ago. As the teacher started her speech about him, the radio on granddad's phone started playing. Dad, being deaf, has his phone set to full volume, and we've got the audio.
6 hours or so are going to be full on and a lot of fun. Dylan is a loyal and supportive friend, and equally, his friends have always looked out for him too. He has enjoyed expanding his friendship group this year, and others are drawn to him through his kind nature and big heart.
Tonight on Nights, we are doing cocaine with toxicology.
Don't worry about that.
Dylan has sound.
You will never look at Santa the same way again.
Sorry.
It's all good.
That's such an old laugh, too.
There's nothing better than old people coming unstuck with tech. We were on I've said this story before, but we're on the Inter-Islander, and there's like people still send it around. It still fucking gets you go, look at the fucking big block on this thing, or how quick is this guy going on his motorbike, or this guy must be surfing the biggest wave in the world. Like you can hear, basically turn the fucking volume up on this thing, and then it just goes. And is and here comes the latest offering from Ring Brothers fucking engineering. It goes, and then just goes, yeah. Someone sent it to this old boy. We were brutally hungover on the fucking Inter-Islander heading down south. This ferry, and it's fucking dead silent because it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, first sailing. And we were lying on the ground, fucked, like there's no place to sleep, so we're on the floor. And then you just hear this fucking, this whole boy's panicking, like fucking trying to turn it off. And his missus basically belting him with her handbag. What are you fucking looking at?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It just never gets old, that.
What sort of setup are you running here in New Zealand? If on the news they're doing cocaine and Santa's done something so bad you're never going to look at him the same way again. Was it a 6 o'clock bulletin? Fuck, we're shaka bra here.
Well, I don't know. Because what time was he
I
looking at?
might
It must
get
have
a
been
job
6
in the
o'clock.
news, eh?
I think they'll do anything to keep people watching it.
Well, remember there was that bloke, I don't even know what happened to him. Was his name Darren someone? He got, I don't know, he must have been drug tested or something. He got done for doing meth and was reading the news every night high on meth.
Yes.
That was like that was real early doors.
Yeah.
It might have been the maybe it wasn't the 6 o'clock. It was probably maybe it was doing the 11 o'clock news at night.
I would, and this is a sweeping generalisation. I reckon that if you drug tested most news readers, you'd find something.
They oh shit, that's good. There was
I do a mental checklist in my head, and I'm like, yep.
Used to. There's a documentary that was released by Paddy Gower, who's a journalist here in New Zealand, and I'm sure the meth one, or it might have been Dave Latelli, who does a lot of great work in the community. It was something like I remember working it out for our work. So there's 200 people here. There'd be 30 people that are probably hooked on meth within this building.
Really?
It was really high.
They do this thing here in NZ and probably around the rest of the world, I'd assume, because we're fucking borderline third world in some parts of the operation of this country. They water test the sewage, and they were saying that the traces of methamphetamine and in areas in Auckland, like cocaine, they go in order for that much to be in the water, like people would have to be fucking, like most houses would have to be knocking over a kilo a week or something just to get them up that high. I was like, Jesus, that's kind of what perplexes them, because obviously it's not like it's been produced here. Like none of it's been produced.
Maybe there's heaps of drug busts and the drug dealers are flushing it down the toilet.
Exactly. That is the conclusion that we came to, is that there must be a whole bunch of it. Like they're getting close and then they go, shit, this is going to happen. And a cop mate of mine was telling me this story, and I can say it because I'll just keep names and areas out of it. But they basically pulled over this car that had mismatching number plates front and back. The person driving it was a known recidivist offender, a person that was big on burglary, and would often be selling methamphetamine. Anyway, so they pulled the bloke over, and he was on the phone, like fucking, looking out the back window as the cops came up, and they're like, "G'day, Barry." Barry's not his name, because that's not his fucking name. "G'day, Barry. What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, fucking, I'm just going to fucking, fucking, jeez, the fucking, where's you've got my tinfoil? Where's my shoes going?" Like that sort of just scattered chat. It out. And they go, who's this car? "Oh, it's a mate of mine's car. Mind if we have a look around it? Anything we're going to find here that we don't want to find?" He's like, no, it's all sweet. They go, if we go into the boot, is there going to be anything? No. Open up the boot. There's like $400,000 in cash and like 2 kilos of methamphetamine.
Shit.
And so obviously that fucking kicks off a few things in motion. And so then from that, warrants were obtained almost on the spot to go around to where he's registered to be living. And he turns up, and there's a guy. They walk into the house because he's like, "Who's there?" "Well, my 2 flatmates are there." Turns up, and there's a guy lying on the couch, fucking bleeding out of his stomach, and he's watching TV. And they're like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Nothing." And then, "You've got fucking blood coming out of your stomach." "Well, no, I tripped over." "What did you land on?" "I don't know." Because look at it, fucking bullet hole straight through him. The same guy's missing a calf muscle because he's had his leg shot off before. And he's watching TV on the couch, just slowly bleeding out. And they're like, "You've been shot?" And he's like, "No, I haven't been." And so what had transpired is that the guy in the car had called his flatmate, the guy who's been shot, and said, "I've just been busted, flush everything." So he's flushing shit at his house, and the other flatmate, who's also a fucking big crackhead, comes in and goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "They're coming." He goes, "You're fucking paranoid, you've lost it." So he goes and gets a gun and shoots him and grabs the rest of the shit and fucks off.
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
And I was like, and I said to my mate, who's the cop that's in this thing, because he's up there, and he goes, "You've got to come for a ride along." Like he always says, "Come for a ride along."
Why are we not doing that?
Go fuck that, because if anything goes wrong, like you're in.
Do they give us a taser or something?
Nah, you've just got
to.
Nothing. You
Can I bring some sports equipment from home?
No, you get a high vis vest, which he goes will do fuck all when you come into these situations.
Can we play around a golf after, and I can take my golf clubs?
Possibly, yeah. I reckon, yeah, just a quick session in the cages beforehand.
Fucking 100% keen.
If you want to do it,
can we stick the recorder on?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's like.
I'm all about the content, eh?
Yeah, it's fucking wild though. Like it's really, really, really wild. He said the shit that you'd see, and that's like that would be one of 10 incidences that he'd see the day in that day to that level. Like over and over and over and over and over again in a 12-hour shift.
Yeah, I don't know how they keep turning up for work when you've seen the fucking absolute scum of society and the worst that society has to offer. Like, they're very rarely does a cop get called to a school and be like inspiring the next generation. Like, most of the time they're just like peeling drunk people off the friggin' pavement on a Saturday night. Yeah, dealing with methies like that.
So we're very good friends with a couple that are police officers, and recently when Fisher was here, does anybody else feel like Jay's saying too much on the podcast today? No. So this is all above the board stuff. And so anyway, we're all
I fucking love it then. Keep going.
We're all at Fisher, and we're having a fucking good time. Like, we're in this area where the tins are free. We've got the extra upgrades, and we're absolutely climbing into our work. And so I met this couple through a friend of mine who's a professional sports player who's recently retired.
Jeez, your details, eh? Jay doesn't have to provide any details, and the rest of his life, and the one time he shouldn't be providing details, he gives way too many.
Everyone's hung up boots in the last 3 years, say, for example. But
Jay knows a lot of guys. Yeah, could be a girl.
It could be a girl, exactly. I said sports person. Anyway, we lock eyes with the officer in question, and at this stage, the group of us is like 20 deep. And she's a very good friend of ours, but fuck, we sprung into life and just made like a dance circle around her and her partner. And she just like fucking, how can you, like, I know, like, enjoy the gig, but fucking don't enjoy it. Don't fuck around with me, because her partner's like going, oh my God. And like, this is people that are like fucking well known for the most part, the whole crew of them that are there. And imagine being a police officer and just going, not only do I have to deal with fucking drunk people I don't know, I've got to fucking deal with my mates that are drunk as well.
And they're worse.
And they're fucking worse because they should know better.
It's like when you get a photo with a police officer on the piss.
Yeah.
I've got fucking that many from Blenheim Blues, Brews and Barbecue. Every year we go, and I'd like try and get them to wear my sunglasses, or I'd wear their hat and they'd wear my hat, or I'd be like putting capes and shit on them. I've got so many photos at home, and they just put up with it.
Yeah, or how many times do you reckon they hear, remember to always blow on the pie? Do you have to yell Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu when you taser someone? Or good afterball cunts to noon? Like, all the dumb shit.
Yeah, righto, mate.
Oi, can I hold your gun? Yeah, oi, can I fucking tase my mate?
Just quickly back to the meth.
We don't want to stray too far from that.
There was a bird that got pulled over, and I think she was a brand ambassador for something at the Auckland International Airport.
She was a brand ambassador. She had like 20 kilos of meth in her bag.
She had 1.5 million doses of methamphetamine on her.
Wow.
And you go, you're worried about the meth problem in New Zealand. Fuck, it's like a fair whack of the population having a hit.
It's a quarter.
Don't even know what to call it.
Quarter of the population having a blast.
Having a meth.
Having a meth. Having a no sleep.
Hey, we're going to finish on a joke today. This is a bloke's dying wish.
So little Johnny's in class, and then teacher asks him a question. If there's 5 birds on a power line and someone shoots one, how many birds are left? And little Johnny goes, none, because they'd all be scared away from the gunshot. Teacher's like, no, there'd be 4, but I like the way you think. Little Johnny goes, okay, I have a question for you then. There's 3 women eating ice cream. One's sucking, one's licking, and one's biting. Who's married? Who's married, Mom? No, the one with the wedding ring, but I like the way you think.
Wrong joke, but we'll go the other one as well.
It's a goodie.
Hey, babe, you know what to do with me when I die? When I die, have me cremated and put my ashes in the chili and then eat me so I can tear that ass up one more time.
That's disgusting.
Oh shit, it's good fun. Once again, thank you for listening to the podcast. Hopefully you have a ripping weekend. As always, share an episode with a mate. We bloody appreciate that. You can also start to find some of our stuff on YouTube. Go to Not For Radio, just search that on YouTube, it'll pop up. I wonder if this notification's still on my phone. The very first subscriber to our YouTube channel.
We'll feed the backs for that person in particular. We'll track them down. That's technology. Everything's trackable.
If you do want to get in touch, there's a link tree in the show notes. Jump on that. It's pretty much all the links you need. And once again, you can get 3 extra episodes by subscribing. Whatever platform you're on, whatever phone you're on, you can get amongst the Sniper Elite episodes.
And the keyword for today is...
We don't have one on these episodes. We give the free stuff to the Sniper Elite. But let's go meth. Have a good one.